And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. We have some breaking news ahead of the Washington Commanders versus the Chicago Bears game. As it is, or as it appears, Jayden Daniels is going to be active here for the start of this game. And so it looks like that he is good enough to go coming back from this rib injury. This is something that I talked about in the last video, that he was trending towards playing because there was a team official that was on that ESPN article that said that he really, really wants to play. And I talked about the fact that he had been ramping it up in practice. This is something that obviously Coach Dan Quinn and the rest of the staff feel comfortable with if Jayden Daniels is going to be the starter out there. So now we just have to see, just how good is Jayden Daniels going to be with this rib injury? Do you have to now, kind of make the playbook a little bit different as far as taking away some of the running plays that you would have for him? Do you take away some of the longer throws? That is something that we are going to find out as this game starts, just how healthy Jayden Daniels is. But I would suspect that he's ready to go, because if Dan Quinn said that, we want to make sure we do what's best for this team and also for him, that would suggest that Jayden Daniels is going to be 100% himself out there. And so we'll be looking to see that. And so now let's look into a couple of key points as we get ready for this game to take off. And I think that number one for the Washington Commanders is to continue to stay in your identity, which is run the football. Because right now, this defense is giving up 4.6 yards per carry. They have given up 112 yards per game out there. And so this is something that the Washington Commanders can absolutely take advantage of. I think that this is something that they're going to need to take advantage of, because this is a team that, yes, they put up 31 points, which is tied for first in the NFL. But a lot of that comes off of being able to run the football, whether it's Jayden Daniels, whether it's been Brian Robinson Jr., whether it's been Jeremy McNichols, or it has been Austin Eckler. This is something that is an identity for this team. And historically, when you look at the Washington team, when they have been very good in the past, and I'm talking about back when they were winning Super Bowls and things like that, they were good at running the football. So this is something that the Commanders absolutely need to do, establish that identity today against this defense and go from there. I think that that is going to certainly open up the pass game for you if you can get these safeties, you can get these corners to start to creep up and be in the box. I think you can take advantage over them over the top later in the game for big plays. And so next up, talking about the big plays and talking about just how good this defense is in the secondary. I talked about this a little bit in the last video, that this defense is very good and optimistic as far as turning you over with 7 INTs and 4 touchdowns. They do a great job as far as getting sacks as well, 18 sacks, 26.9%, I believe, blitz rate, but they find ways to get home. And so I think that as the Washington Commanders set up this run game, that is going to give them some opportunities to open it up as far as passing down the field. And I don't think that it's necessarily just going to be Terry McLaurin. In fact, I think that Terry McLaurin is going to have a true challenge in this game, because he has Jalen Johnson to worry about. And Jalen Johnson has one of the best defensive back ratings in all the NFL. He is absolutely a wide receiver one eraser out there, because he will shut down your wide receiver one. And so that suggests to me that now you're going to see players like Noah Brown has to step up. Zach Ertz is going to have to take more of a different role. You might have to see McCaffrey out there make some plays. And I certainly think that Austin Eckler is going to make sure that he has a good game now, because he has to go out there, or he needs to make sure he has a good game. He has to make sure that he takes advantage of a lot of these one-on-one coverages against these linebackers and things like that. And not only is he catching the ball, but you're hoping that he's going to get some some yards after the catch here. And so I think that there's going to be an opportunity for that, even though this Bears defense is pretty disciplined in their tackling. But if he gets some one-on-one one-on-one opportunities like a Zach Ertz and things like that, they're going to have to make those plays additionally after the catch. And so I think that there's an opportunity here in the pass game, assuming that you go ahead and you're running the football. And so next, and lastly, I think with the defense for the Washington Commanders is going to really have to step up against Caleb Williams. Number one, you're going to have to stay disciplined here because I talked about the fact that I believe he's averaging right around 6.8 yards a carry. So once he gets out of the pocket, he's extremely dangerous. And so much like the game plan was for Lamar Jackson, you're going to have to make sure that you're disciplined. Excuse me, in your rush lanes. You don't want him to get outside the pocket. And you want to make sure that you get him down and you stop him from having these long gains. And I will say this, if you can keep Caleb Williams in the pocket and the coverage is pretty sticky on the outside, the chances are you have a good chance in either one, getting a sack, or two, you have a good chance of him throwing an interception. Because when you go back and you look at that Houston Texans game where he really struggled, that came down to a lot of coverage sacks. There was just really nowhere to go on the field. And then with their defensive line, they stayed disciplined and they made sure they got him down. They didn't let him duck a shoulder and get away for a huge gain. This is something that you have got to do. And this is something that was talked about on Locked On Commanders. Generally, what happened is when they got him in a 3rd and 7, so you get him in a 3rd and long situation, he tries to make the big play. And this kind of dates back to what he used to do at USC. He likes to try to hold on to the ball and he likes to get locked onto a player and try to make a huge play down the field. And I think that it can be something that the Washington Commanders can absolutely take advantage of, because if he holds onto the football, and that means that the coverage is good enough, that means that our defensive linemen, linebackers, whoever's coming at him have got to get home. You got to make sure that you secure that sack or make it a tough throw to where he throws into some traffic and here. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you are thinking about this news where Jayden Daniels is going to be out here playing in today's game. Do you think that he is going to be a huge factor for the Commanders? Do you think he's going to be 100% of himself out there? Do you feel like the Washington Commanders are going to make enough plays defensively out there? Is that going to really be the way the Commanders win the game today? Or is it just going to be the Commanders outright just outplaying their defense as far as us getting a lot of points offensively here? So I'd love to hear what you're thinking in the comments. Definitely enjoy the game out there. I will see you guys on the post game. This is Rico, and this is Washington Commanders Insider. I will see you on the next one. Peace. Take care.